everybody. Welcome back. We're going to do an update on Nobu's continued solid food vacation. Is that true, Nobu? What day are we on?
Dude, I've honestly lost track. I think I'm on day 16 or 17, but either way, it's been good. I'm past the worst phase of it. The beginning of it, like I think I alluded to before, was damn near battery acid coming out my backside and getting a lot of soreness and rawness. Now my kidneys are filtering, so instead of the juice all going out through my lower GI tract, my kidneys are able to take some of the burden now. Good energy. I hit some roadblocks every once in a while of where I'm not going to the bathroom because you should be aiming to have one, number two, defecation at least a day. And I can definitely feel when I don't have that bowel movement, I can feel myself more sluggish and like lower energy, which again makes sense because my body's trying to rid itself of toxins and old waste matter. But then when it doesn't get released, it's in me. So, yeah,
Do you need to like drink more juice or have some fibrous juice in order to help that?
the solution is more juice. Yeah, some people advocate for bentonite clay or psyllium husk or other such fibrous tools. I personally like to keep the juice fast as pure as possible. I'm already getting powders like I told you last week, like pine pollen, etc. So I am getting some levels of fiber, but the real solution is just to drink more juice because all that tissue that's been in there for God knows how long needs to get rehydrated. Because again, this is my fifth juice fast that I'm going to be going over 60 days with. And so I've already gone through layers of tissue and purging the inside, but there's always, again, until you go the full distance, which I have yet to do, there's still more stuff to get out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. It's just so much in there. It's like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it's been in the back of my mind since we've had that conversation of like, how much like are these old particles since I was a child like still in my gut? Like, oh man, like they've just been nagging at me. Yeah, but it's just such a long an arduous process. It seems to you said you're in your fifth fast and you still have stuff that's like kind of needs to be
But
rehydrated.
but also keep in mind I've fallen off my way in my discipline at times. Like it's a very common theme. You can look through the comments on YouTube of other juice fasters or feasters, and they'll say, I was doing good. I did a solid food vacation. I was eating raw vegan. After that, usually it's primarily fruitarian as well. And then once someone has cooked food once, like they go from being regular and high vibe, and then it'll almost fill in any sort of pockets of the gut that haven't fully healed. And that's another important thing as well for me at the end of this one is making sure that once I'm cleaned out, to keep going to give my GI tract as well anytime if there's any bubbles or distortions within the intestinal tract or the colon to give them time to reform and go back to their actual natural state. Because again, if you think about it, like when people are eating food that's not proper for them, and then it sits inside there and almost creates like a pocket in the wall of your intestines, when that gunk finally does get flushed out, well now there's like a dent. So you need that dent to correct itself. Otherwise, as soon as you eat food again that has similar properties of rotting and stagnating inside you, it's just going to fill in that pocket. Which again,
Okay.
that comes back to the mucoid plaque of where people are pulling out things out of their body and seeing things come out that literally just it matches up to your intestines. Yeah,
Wow. Dang. That's wild. Yeah. So I guess the integration and like the follow through on this is important too. And I'm sure
it's
once you
huge.
get to that point, we'll go into it in depth. But maybe what's like a quick hit on that for anyone that might be at that stage at the moment and can't wait.
Quick
Like
hit. Oh,
what's the healing? Like once they're done, like when they whatever when they're done juice fasting and they're ready to start moving
integrating solid
onto
foods again.
another. Yeah.
So going to a raw vegan diet with emphasis on fruits, because and the contrast is also huge during a juice fast. I mean, after someone's at the end of a juice fast, anything that's not for their body, the contrast is going to feel really huge. I mean, food's going to feel heavy, and things that are very dense will feel very dense. So it will have a very drug like effect. And again, it's always had a drug like effect, but when you don't have that distance again between the frequencies, you can't really see it for what it is. But once you get getting around day 30 or day 60, the contrast becomes absolutely massive. And furthermore, this and I'm already at this point now, and I see it every time I do a solid food vacation. you really see the primal mindset most people have surrounding food. Like there's like it's almost like this de I am gonna watch my people become very you see how possessive people are of their food. Again, this goes back to the root chakra and their resources. Which again going back to the abundance mindset. Again, I know from a mathematical standpoint, in terms of energy, in terms of water, and in terms of cost, that fruit is a abundance mindset source of energy. Because again, you eat a watermelon ideally, well, it has how many seeds and you defecate those out, you're going to replant more watermelons. We're going to 10x the process. We're going to continue to grow and expand. Whereas we spend 2 years raising a cow and it consumes hundreds of gallons of water. I saw Guru did a video on this years ago explaining how fruit is logically the way to go for sustainability of a species. You lose so much water and you only feed and then it's gone. Like it doesn't you haven't generated in slaughtering that cow, you haven't generated a new cow. In slaughtering a watermelon, I have not in our modern world, right? But done optimally, we have the potential to just 10x and continue to grow watermelons, which is really freaking cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Fruit is abundant, given the opportunity. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for another check-in on the, I'm sure we'll do one again next week on the juice feast and the solid food vacation, and good luck in the interim. Thanks everyone
Thanks,
for listening.
JT.